am a fifth-generation pastor. My brother is a Pentecostal bishop in Michigan, and my other brother is a minister of music at a large church in Chicago. My dad was a bishop of Holiness denomination in Texas. I can go into my grandfather, great-grandfather, and all of that. I went to DePaul University for undergrad, and I majored in industrial organizational psychology because I really wanted to go into the field of business. And I didn't want to hang around long enough to get an MBA, so that was the compromise, a business degree with a psych background. After coming out of undergrad, I went to work for State Farm, a major insurance company, starting in claims, and then went into business, which is what I wanted. As an agent, establishing an agent in the south suburbs of Chicago. Actually, I was the first African-American agent in the south suburbs at the time. Before I even go there, I would like to share a story from seminary days. I was in a religious education class with Liv Caldwell. And she gave us all a piece of clay, and she said, now make something, with the clay. And some people made little stick men, some people made, a whale, some people made a snake or whatever. And then she said, okay, now start over, and we balled it up again. She says, now, ask the clay what it wants to be. That's just really weird, right, because of inanimate object, etc. But as we meditated and thought about it, there was this feeling of this is where this should go, this is how it should be shaped. I think that my challenge with forming a vision for the presbytery is that I prefer to work interactively, and that means my vision is shaped by what I hear, what I see, what I observe. And so I haven't had that experience with Milwaukee yet, so what I'm saying now is a partial vision in essence. All right, well, with that said, I see the primary role of the presbytery as to be a resource and support for congregational mission and ministry. What this assumes is that the congregation has a mission and a ministry, which leads me to kind of what excites me about the Presbytery in Milwaukee. There are so many strong, healthy congregations that are doing mission in its community, that is creative in a way in which it's doing a ministry, that it's just exciting to see this happen. And so what I see the challenge, one of the challenges is, how do we get these congregations to connect and network and share with one another so that we are now enhancing ministry, so that congregation A listens to congregation B and comes up with ideas for itself, but also ways of supporting congregation B. So there's this networking of congregations I would like to see happening in the presbytery. Now this is then rooted in another layer of networking which I would like to see happening with the pastors. A network of connections by way of small groups in which pastors meet together based upon topic or geographical location or even demographics in terms of racial ethnicity or gender, and they discuss a topic that they desire to dig into, and from that conversation find ways of doing mission in their context. And as a presbytery, my role is to enhance those conversations by perhaps bringing in moderators or bringing in folks who are focused on particular ideas that can help these small groups to coalesce and to come up with ways to live out what they're discussing. I believe the presbytery should be a place of learners, of people who come together to learn and to grow. But I have to add the caveat, learners who are learning to act. In other words, it's not enough just to know, but how do we take that knowledge and put it into action? And that's how I see this networking of congregations, of pastors, and of ruling elders as well. I should just say leaders, coming together to do the work of the ministry of the presbytery. And then there's another element in that, we look at the whole presbytery, that somewhere in there needs to be what I call a skunk works, right? This is an idea, goes back to a book I read called it's on Innovation in Bell Labs. The Ideas Factory, that was it, the Ideas Factory. And which it talked about Bell's Labs. This is a place that invented the telephone, right? Invented the microwave, invented silicone, went from vacuums to transistors to silicone chips. I mean, all this innovation was going on in this place. And the way it happened was there was this permission given for risk and failure, so that people could try out new ideas, and if they work, they're celebrated. If they don't work, let's tear it apart. Let's see what went wrong. How do we even celebrate that? Because it's the risk that matters. So there needs to be an element of the presbytery that encourages this type of risk-taking when it comes to doing the mission for God in the world. That they can get together, discuss these ideas, try these things out, bring in the experts, bring in people to help give them direction, and that's where the presbytery helps, to help to cultivate this culture of risk-taking, of innovation, to help us do ministry into the 21st century. I think this is what I bring to the position. I have tremendous skills of analysis, and unfortunately I'm a numbers wonk, so I can look at numbers and kind of get a sense of where things are, should be. I have this history of dealing with diverse communities, from African American church to Latino church to Korean church to the Euro church. And I have this history of being able to build bridges in communities so that people learn to share and talk with one another, learn to see one another in different ways, care and love and grow together. I also have a history of building relationships, building communities, be it at McCormick, be it at Bryn Mawr, or be it at the Korean Presbyterian Church in Madison, be it at Bethesda, and helping people who are very different come together and recognize commonalities and begin to support one another. And then frankly, the other side is I'm very comfortable with change. I'm very comfortable with things not being so stable. And right now is a time in which it seems as though the foundations are shifting under our feet in the mainline church and the Presbyterian Church USA. And I think I am uniquely qualified to stand and help people to know that, you know what, as long as God is in this thing, we're going to come out on the right side of it and learn to place our values and trust in one another, and we're going to be okay.